Okay, I think we figured this out, gang. I think we figured out how we can do this creative stream. I don't have my crop top right now, Hype Goblin. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. Hi, Dom, Dwomble. Nice seeing you guys. Thanks for coming by. This is the first time that we're doing something like this. I've never done a build stream before. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing, so you know. It'll be fun for the whole family, fun for everybody who decided to stop on by. I'm pretty sure it's in my closet somewhere. I'd love your voice audio up a little bit. Okay, so I can't really do that, but what if, hear me out on this, I just tilted it so that way it was closer to my face. Does this help? Does this help for the audio? That's actually way better. Okay, cool, dope. Oh, well, thank you everybody who decided to stop by and join. So, this is a build stream, as you might have guessed. Basically, I put out on Twitter a little bit ago that I wanted to get a new computer. But in order to get that new computer, I needed money. And then I didn't have all that money. But then the community ended up coming together and helping me out with that, which was really neat of them. So thank you to everybody who donated to, is it Ko-fi? Ko-fi, that one. Thank you to everybody who helped do that, because you made this stream possible, you made this build possible. And honestly, I feel like that is like the main thing with this stream in general, is that it's only possible because of all of you guys. So thank you. So I'm going to try and keep the microphone at a steady level. There might be some interference from things like headphones and, you know, computer parts and me moving around, but like we can work through it. We can get through this together. And that's also an important part. Also, if you like streams like this table's not mine. If I stand at my full height, I'm actually out of frame and also far away from the microphone, but like, I could fix this if that ended up being an issue. I might end up just like scooching down. This is knee height. I'll probably end up spending a decent bit of time here, but in the meantime, let's get into it. Let's get into the parts. So when I was initially doing my streams, one of the things that I focused on, or wanted to focus on primarily, was gaming. Obviously, who does not want to stream the video games? But in order to stream those video games, I thought to myself, man, oh man, I need to have like a good graphics card. I need to have good RAM. I need to have all this good stuff. I'm gonna keep checking my phone a little bit, just because I would get a chair. I don't have room for a chair back here. I am currently sharing my office with my significant other, because it just felt like the right thing to do. So now, like, my office is our office, which is very fun. I have a stool, actually, that I could use. Just a second. I'm gonna grab that stool. Here we go. See, I'm super prepared. I know what I'm doing. I have streamed before. Stool. That's right. Science words for poop. Now it seems more like I have like a Larry King style talk show that we're going to be doing. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of what it is, but I wanted to stand because I'm going to be like digging into the guts of stuff. So, for those of you who might be joining us, who aren't really familiar with computer parts, I am going to be doing my best to try and describe computer parts, my pooter parts, to all of you guys as I'm going through and doing this, just in case, you know, people don't know what they're going into. That, and like, we can experience this together. I have kept all of my parts sealed. 3 of them I got earlier today, between an Amazon shipment at my house, an Amazon shipment across town, because I ended up ordering things to the wrong part of town, and then they ended up just, you know, you have to go and get them. That's the important part. I sent I sent 3 things to an old apartment, and I ended up having to go. Thankfully, the people who lived there were cool enough that I could go to that old apartment, and then they gave me my stuff. So like my processor, my RAM, my motherboard, all of that was sent to the wrong address, but fingers crossed, they ended up giving me my stuff back. So I ended up ordering Ryzen 7 for my processor. It is the, let's see. It says on the box, I'm bad at this, 3700X series, which I've heard is very good. And we can actually get more into the talk on the processor once we get there. But first, I guess, what would you guys prefer? Would you guys prefer me to go through my list of parts of stuff that I ordered and then talk about it all at once? Might be a little overwhelming, or just kind of like get into it, showcase it off one at a time, and then we go forward from there. Again, I've never done a build stream before, so I don't fucking know what I'm supposed to be doing in this. I'll probably upload this to YouTube, because why not? RJ says showcase, but that's 1 against 2 for as I go. So we're just going to go as I go, because Hype Goblin and Dwomble both suggested I do that thing. My PC that I usually stream is actually like across the room, so I have studio headphones, so I have a really long cable that's like 6+ feet with extra tether to it, so I'm using those. I have my machine across the way, so like I see like a little tiny preview image of myself, and I can see generally when new things pop up in chat. I have a desk light. It is like an additional LED light source specifically, so that way when I'm looking at small things, I actually use this when I'm mini painting. When I'm painting small things and I need like the detail to pop, I'll use a light like this, because again, it's very bright, but it's bright directly over the thing with its arm, so it's very helpful. So first things first, indoor for scale. This is the computer case that I ended up getting. This is the Phanteks Enthoo. It's Enthoo. Enthoo Prime. It is a massive box, Mecha. It is a huge, yes, it is a full tower. The other reason why I wanted to get a full tower is because I like the idea of being able to expand. I'm a big fan of generally expanding computer parts. The computer that I had before laptop that I was doing a lot of like video editing work on was like the first PC that I built, but like I ended up changing pretty much every part on it over time, except I think the hard drive. I think the hard drive is the only thing on the PC that I have out there in the other room that is still there. So let's crack into this bad boy. So really cool things that you guys probably can't see on stream, but I'll just kind of point out. One of the main things so we're streaming, right? Like we want to have a PC that's powerful enough to stream, but because we're dealing with audio, we're specifically dealing with audio as a medium, as a D&D stream. Mecha, thank you for gifting that sub to Ryan. That's very kind of you. One of the things that we're dealing with a stream machine is that we also want it to be quiet. We want to make sure that it's not loud. The PC that I had before, its front fan that it had was just asinine how loud it was. So when I was building this, I wanted to make sure, okay, I want as quiet a computer as I can. That's why I ended up getting the fan that we got, which we can get to in a little bit. It is, like I went through like several websites of like, what's 2020's best fan in terms of silence. And that was like this fan was in most of the lists that I ended up finding. So I felt like it was a safe bet. And after talking with some other friends who more routinely build PCs, or like at least like fantasy team build PCs. Like, oh, if I built a PC, this is what I want. Like, that fan was one of the better ones. So let me grab my knife, because it's got such an unruly box. The Amazon guy, as he dropped it off earlier today, was also like, this fucker's massive. This is very heavy. I wasn't just gonna leave this at your front door, so I'm glad that you were sitting on your couch, able to grab this when I came by. I was making coffee, but that's besides the point for him. So I need to move. Another reason why I needed more space behind this desk than a chair. I need to move to be able to reach. This is my wingspan on one side is the length of this box, and my torso from collarbone past my junk onto the table is how wide this is. I should be able to fit everything in that thing. You're right. I feel like I should. So, first step to building a PC, you need a knife. And, you know, it's a box cutter. We're going to call it a knife for today. So, it's always important, cut away from yourself, because you don't want to accidentally cut yourself. That's an important thing. I saw the website that I used in order to get everything together was PC Part Picker. And PC Part Picker does a really good job of showing you compatibility with your pieces while you're actually building your machine. So even though I did not have physical parts in front of me, I still used that website to be able to actually, like, okay, this is what I need, this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for, and it did a really good job of actually, it did a really good job of making sure that I had everything that I needed. So, not sponsored by PC Part Picker, but hey, if PC Part Picker you're listening and you want to sponsor, just saying, I will build more computers on stream. And then, like, donate them, give them away, I don't know. I'm not going to be I will not be able to lift it up out of the box that way. So, just a moment while I get this to more reasonable. There's not enough room for me and all the shit that's still back here. Moving that. Okay. Okay. Flexing my muscles. There is no proper way to get large things out of unwieldy boxes that I have found, except using gravity as your friend. It's like a workout stream. Okay, there we go. Oh god, this is still massive anyways. Yeah, who would have thought that the cardboard who would have thought the cardboard is not the heaviest part on this. Okay, one box down. Yes, this is a chunky boy. You know what? I usually name my computer something. Whatever we end up, we can name it together on the stream. We can name it together. I don't know if the mic was able to pick that up because it was far away, but like, while we're doing stuff, yeah, we can think of names for this chongus. I know in Rime of the Frost Maiden. Oh no, like this tower. Wait till you see it out of the packaging. I am so pleased. KR Milo. One of the things that really spoke to me about this tower was its overall design. What it ended up looking like. So let's get this out of all this shit. And that's fine. Okay, so this is on its side, or on its butt. I can feel it. 'Cause that's the front. That is the front butt. Oh, this is the bottom. Okay. So, this. Okay. Ooh. I've not seen the inside yet. That's pretty. I'm sorry I cannot show more easily the webcam all the way over there. But if you join on Discord, me on Discord, I will post the pictures of what we have. So this might not be a revelation, but holy fuck, it's large. Yeah, I may have not understood the size of this machine. My Discord link did not work, so we're gonna try and do our best, kids. Oh, no, that is the way it's supposed to go. Oh! Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so one thing. So there's the top mesh on the fan, right? If you push down, it just pops up. Like it has like a little bit of a springy to it. So that way you can actually like open it up from the top, clean the fans out that you have up there a lot easier. That's actually really cool. It supports USB 3, it supports USB 2, it supports a family of 6. It supports a lot of things. So thankfully there's that. We're gonna get all of that small plastic off of there. So I'm gonna see if maybe the other thing that it has. God, taking off those plastic bits is the best. So on the other side, the side that I'll be looking at most, it has a nice like black and red interior. Big ol' window, very nice window good. And what they ended up doing is that there's actually plastic wrap on the inside of the window too. So for the purpose of shipping, yeah, there's a lot of shit. It's fucking massive. It's chongy. But Shannon, you can just clean out the fan this way. You can clean out all the fans by just popping open that top mesh. Isn't that sweet?
I didn't realize it was red inside.
Yeah, there was actually there was a black and blue one where the blue was on the inside versus the red, but they were sold out of that one.
I'm glad you got this one.
Because black and red is Reaper's color, and he's my main. No, he's not.
It's really cool looking.
It is really cool looking.
Right?
This fucker's giant.
I feel like I've seen a color this week before, but not.
Can we get some ASMR for the peel? I will try. Everyone's saying hi, Leshy. She's great. I will see, because there's more plastic on the inside. Could you actually get me a Phillips head screwdriver?
Yeah. Is this the toddler-sized Gundam that we just got instead of the Gundam itself? It's just a computer?
Man, I wish we had a toddler-sized Gundam model.
Me too, but I feel like this is a close second.
This is a close second. Big gamer energy, yes. Black and red is actually peak gamer energy.
Is this good, or do you need a big one?
I'm gonna need the red one. There we go. Got one. I'd say black and silver is more Reaper's color. Not important though. You could put your kitty in there, it's that big. My cat could live in here and like have like an entire cat house of activities that she would do. That's okay, I can actually use the butt end of this guy to just like give it a little bit of torque.
I mean, I'll still keep looking for it. Are you sure the other one's too small?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. But please don't. My cat are like using a knife as a screwdriver. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, gang, here's the plate. Let me know. Let me know if this is the good shit for you. Is that it? Not the one y'all looking for? Well, good, because we needed this large plate off anyways. But now that that's off, I don't have more, Ryan. Not yet. There's gonna be more on other pieces. Oh, wait. Oh, these are small. I will be able to like get the plastic off of these itty bitty ones eventually, but I don't have the nails or the dexterity from where this is. So yeah, this is the inside of the machine. Again, absolutely massive. One of the things that it also has is that this little plate right here that says the brand of the case, you can actually remove and put your own plate there. So if eventually, like Indoor Adventures gets to the point where I can get like a tiny little plate thing that's this measure, I will get I will get something from the show put in here because that's what we need. I could charge rent for the whole inside of that thing. I could, if in the Portland metro area, this is at least an $800 space that you are occupying, at least. Another really cool thing about this case is that the bottoms are actually, from what I could see, I think there is a means of you can actually like undo the entire bottom tray for airflow and then clean that easier. Yeah, no utilities included. For sure, there are no UDs in here. And let's see. Yeah, another reason why. So like, it goes deep. It looks very nice. There's lots of room for like extra storage down here, more drives up here, which is good because I actually ordered a drive for me to put in on this as well. Alright, so that's all that we're going to be able to see of this inside because in order to put the computer together... Did you bring in the motherboard? From the car?
Oh.
Could you possibly get that?
Yes.
Thank you.
So remember when we were moving my school?
Yeah.
Where did you put the stuff that was on the stool?
On the table.
Okay. It's gone forever.
Gone forever, folks.
Okay. I brought this.
It's fine, I already got it off.
Okay. I'll give you the motherboard.
Alright, thank you. My better half, everybody. But yes. The other really cool thing that this PC has is that on the back end of it, on the other side that we didn't end up opening, there are clamps for cable management. Like the PC just came with them, rather than me having to try and like zip tie shit and like get all that figured out, like this just knew what I needed, and it was so, it's so nice. I'm unpacking those LTT water bottles. Oh shit, it's your boy Mata. How's it going? It's got like little lockies, which I'm very excited for. I'm pleased. Can't really do a whole lot without the motherboard, but that is okay. LTT store. I should have had a water bottle. Jake, please. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is getting the motherboard. And for those of you who don't know what a motherboard is, it's essentially like the central nervous system of your PC. I wouldn't necessarily call it the brain, because that's what your processor is. But your motherboard is what allows all of the power from your power supply and all the other things to kind of mesh together, to coalesce into some beautiful piece of machinery that we then use primarily to look up porn. With a motherboard like this, oh, thank you. A motherboard isn't a daddy board, and that's all that we need to know. You are very right, Mecca. Lymph and blood system? Nervous system. I would say nervous system. Mostly because it is the connecting factor. It allows your RAM to interface with everything else, and that's also important. So now, this isn't normally the music that we listen to on this channel. Normally we do like the fantasy music because we were doing D&D, but I felt like chill pop was a better way of doing it. Yes! So, this is a motherboard specifically for AMD, which is what we're using. We're not touching Intel because Intel is more expensive, and honestly, they are much more of a name brand than I feel like a lot of people want to realize when they're building their computers. So like if it says like, oh, it's an Intel like a billion core processor, like okay, that's cool, but like their like infrastructure for their processors hasn't really changed very much, whereas like AMD started off as a budget product, but now if you look at like a lot of like the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, the Nintendo Switch, like they're all using AMD because it's cheaper, but it's just as good. Like there's no reason for, if you are building computer parts, unless you already have an Intel, like you already have a bunch of Intel stuff, or like you're specifically looking for what Intel has to offer, there's no reason to get Intel. You can just get AMD. Collect all of my old motherboards from my older PCs and my friends' broken PCs. A little hobby of mine. It's really cool, Mecca. So, man, it's thick. Okay, so that's all of them innards that I don't necessarily need. There's like books. And this is a quick installation guide. So this will teach you like how to put your processor on, how to attach some other stuff, which we'll get to in a little bit. The reason I chose the MSI Mag, the Tomahawk, is because one, it supports DDR4 RAM, and you need the DDR4 RAM in the year of our Lord and Destroyer 2021, because that's what you do. DDR3 RAM is good, but a lot of newer pieces are only supported by motherboards, and those motherboards are only supported with DDR4. So it's not that you can't build a stream machine with like DDR3, but you're gonna find that a lot of the things that you need just don't exist anymore. You're not gonna be really getting very much for it. So with this, the reason why I wanted this one, it has pretty colors that's on it. You can't really see those. Let's see if I can get, nope, that makes it look terrible. Why did I think that what looks good for me looks good on stream? It has enough hookups on the back end for what I need. It has slots for, I believe, multiple video cards. So if I did end up wanting to expand, wanting to get an additional video card in here, like you can, I think it's like an SLI connection for, when the NVIDIA Titan was like the dummiest expensive computer part. That was something that you could do. I don't think that we necessarily need that. But it's still something to consider, like, for the future, if that is something that we ever ended up needing this machine for. I didn't want to then be like, oh, well, I didn't think about it at the time, so now I'm just kind of stuck. It says audio boost, but, like, we'll see. Because honestly, your motherboard doesn't determine the quality of the audio. That determines the quality of the audio is the audio file. The format that that's in determines it more. The headphones that you have determine it more, not the motherboard. Motherboard helps, but like, that's such a non-statement to say that your motherboard can do. So if a motherboard ever tells you, like, I can do audio so much better, don't believe it. It's lying. It's full of lies. Just like everyone on the internet except me. I am a truth teller. Alright. So, it lied to me. There's no pretty colors on there. But, as you can see, beautiful piece of hardware. See if I can actually, like... Nope, that does not help at all. I thought it might. It's gonna help me. I wanna help you guys. I'm gonna set that over there briefly. Because I need... God. The hardest part about this case, currently... is going to be getting everything to fit the way we want it. This is 2 motherboard for CPU fan. Okay, so where is... Thankfully, all of the little SATA connections. Sysfan... Sysfan 3... Sysfan 2, Sysfan 1, CPU fan 1. Okay. So, we're gonna want that over. Oh. The other thing, do not be afraid of building a computer. It is much scarier than it seems when you are initially putting parts together, because you do not want to bend any pins, you do not want to break anything, because you just put a bucket of money at it, and to do that would just feel bad. Feels bad. Indoor is a truther. That's right. The Earth is spherical, and AMD does what you need it to. Okay, so I think I need very small pliers, because this did not come with small little screws. Is it worth putting the parts into the motherboard before the case? Yes and no. The real reason why I always felt like I should do them separately is mostly just because I wanted to display things.
Don't mind me.
Could you grab me some water, actually?
Yeah, is your water?
It's in my backpack, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, we could definitely put the parts on the motherboard first. There's really no reason not to. The other very important thing to note when you are getting a case, when you are picking out a motherboard, make sure they're the same size. Make sure your PC has the bits inside it to mount that motherboard. I was building a PC once, and one of the things that ended up happening was they're in there tight. No. Well, it have to be, because I need small screws, I believe, to actually like connect. I was mainly just thinking it would be easier to not have the case in the way while attaching things. That is very true. So, I think next up, because we were talking about the nervous system being the motherboard, we got RAM. We got Rammy Rams. Thank you. You're so kind. I'm going to be drinking away from the inside of the computer. Thank you. So yes, we have our RAM. RAM is good. When I was with my laptop, the laptop that I use for streaming has 64 gigabytes of RAM in it, which at the time I was like, oh, of course I would want to have that much RAM. Oh, your boy Mata, thank you so much for the follow. I would want to have a bunch of RAM because at the time I thought that RAM meant that I was going to be able to like render videos faster and be able to do other things faster too, which is kind of the case, but for the most part, RAM is your kind of like your ability to multitask and be able to do other things at once. And then depending on your computer, depending on what you're doing, your RAM can, and oftentimes does, work better for single app processes. So if you're doing something like rendering a video, you're going to want to have a decent amount of RAM because that will allow you to render your video faster. To put it into perspective, the video editing that I do, we output a 3-hour video in 1080p. It takes about an hour and 5 to 58 minutes to actually be able to process. Ooh, that is sleek. That is nice. I enjoy. The other thing is that you want to make sure. There it goes. Oh, it's only loose on one. Okay. So RAM is good. RAM is important. RAM is love. RAM is life. For the most part, it's good. I would say if you're planning on doing a streaming build, it's very useful to have. More RAM than less, especially if you're doing multi-processes, like if you're running a game, if you have audio software up, if you have your stream service up, if you have a bunch of things running at once, you need a lot of RAM because otherwise your computer is just going to shit the bed. For those who might not have a good idea of that, Think about the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 had a jumper pack in it, and the jumper pack was the little cartridge in the front. Without that, your system could not work. It just would not actively play anything. And then when they ended up making Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, other games that could use the jumper pack. Or not the jumper pack. That was an expansion pack. It was a separate thing because certain games just took more memory than your computer was actually able to handle, or the Nintendo 64 was able to handle. So they had to make extra. So effectively, they went from one stick of RAM to then like adding in a second one. The kind of RAM that we chose was the Vengeance LPX because all RAM is named as if it'll make your dick bigger. And I don't understand why. But it's, I mean, like, computer building at this part is kind of, I wouldn't say it's bro-y necessarily, but like it can get pretty up there, especially like when the gaming community gets involved and like, oh bro, do you overclock your PC? It's like, yeah, what do you play on it? Minecraft, it's a 4 fucking K. So like, you don't need to. Corsair didn't need to name all of their things this way, but they did. Other thing that is very helpful when you are building PC parts there it goes. The other important thing, not necessarily super important, but something to kind of keep in mind. Your PC will most likely run better if you buy multiple parts from the same people. So if you're getting like AMD parts, you want like an AMD processor, you want AMD supported motherboard, all of that, like you want an AMD graphics card, because those kinds of things are helpful, because then the drivers are already installed and you don't have to try and worry about finagling it to actually get it to work. So RAM, super easy to install. With that, it's got clippies on the side, and then you just literally just plug and chug those parts into it. I will call computer building big kid Legos more often than not, because that's just kind of what it feels like. Is that like the parts are really easy, they just kind of snap in at this point. It definitely is a much more terrifying experience when you don't know what you're doing versus when you have at least some semblance of what you're doing. So we have a RAM that is good. Next up, the most terrifying part of PC building, the processor. And the processor, that is the thing that I would say is effectively your brain. Your processor is like not the cognitive ability, that sounds like it's talking. Which RAM channels do I have those in? I have those in RAM channels. I have them in the first and second slot. It's a very good point to bring up, Dwam, because if you put your RAM in the wrong slots, then your PC will just like, no, it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't like it. It doesn't like that at all. So all of the big chongy parts of this are done, so I can kind of sit a little bit. There's still stuff like right at my legs, because this is not, as you may have guessed, the standard stream setup for things. Okay, headphones. So we're going to be doing this. 1, 3, 2, and 4. No. I think so. You found it.
Eventually. This may help when you put it back together.
Possibly.
Well, and now it's there and I can sleep.
Sleeps. 1, 3, 2, and 4. Okay. As far as I am aware, you're just supposed to do 1 and 2. Like, you have to do multiples of 2. Another thing to kind of remember about RAM is that you can't just buy like one stick of 16 and then another stick of 8 and then one stick of 4. No, really. I mean, it should be in the manual. Slots 1 and 3 are paired. Let's find out. 2 and 4 are paired. Yeah, it's usually the spaced ones. Safety information. That doesn't help me. Let's read the manual. That's what people tune in for. Installing memory. Yep, so you want 2 and 4 for 2 sticks. So, thank you. Otherwise, I would have turned it on and then been like, the fuck? Okay. There we go. So, thank you. Keanu also, aka Reevesbot in chat, is also one of my PC buildy friends. So I trust him as far as what to do with PC. It's important. This is the most terrifying thing in the entire world. This small little chippy. So a processor has like 1.5 billion pins on it. A motherboard has a spot where you put those 1.5 billion pins, and it's like, it will never feel right when you put it in. It will never feel like it's doing the thing it's supposed to, which is terrifying because, again, it's a very expensive piece. It kind of makes the whole thing work. So it's definitely something that like you want to make sure works. Processor came with a fan, which is good. That fan has fresh thermal paste on it, which again, for those of you who are not super tech inclined, thermal paste is very good. It will keep your processor from overheating, because it looks like copper. It looks like a copper conductor. It has this paste stuff on it. So after you put your motherboard in, that's when you slap that fan on. You make sure that the thermal paste is on there. Man, having a slot new i9 processors into our servers is so nerve-wracking. I was handed them a stack at a time, so I just had like 10,000 worth of material thrust in my pans. Ugh. Ick. Yucky. No thank. Do not want. Yeah, so the processor, again, like the very expensive, very difficult to put in part, please. Containing this package is compatible with all 500 series motherboards out of box and is compatible with 400 series after a BIOS update has been installed. We have a 500 series, so it's just automatically going to work. Neat. Again, buying from the same company, multiple parts, generally pretty helpful. And the whole thing about not being allowed to touch most of the CU makes it that much more scary. Yeah! The processor is a horrifying experience, but a very easy way to note where it is supposed to go is there is usually a small bit on the processor that you can see in the lower left-hand side that has a golden arrow on it. That tells you the direction that your processor is supposed to go in the motherboard. Which again, horrifying There is a little tiny clamp arm that will allow your allow your processor to get put in easier. And again, terrifying. But, oh god, it just dropped in. Fine. So, then we put the little arm back down. Processor is locked in place. I will never touch that again until I get a new processor because, oh my god, I hate touching those things so much. Next up is this boy, who I believe there are little hooks on either side for the fan. That makes it very helpful. This is, let's figure out, before we even bother putting the rest of that on there, installation instructions for this fan. What the fan is supposed to connect to. Like which slot. Because it has, I hope you guys like paper ASMR. The PC itself actually already had the little or the motherboard already had the little arms that we can hook onto. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Should be good. It's a good side for it, I feel. So, bring these hooks up. And then what is this song? I think I am supposed to do this long side first and then clamp it in. That's what I felt like. Back of the motherboard. Ugh. Okay, I can't do that over there. I can't be doing that at an angle. That's very frustrating. Again, this is not normally how I stream. I'm glad you are all getting a very good look at the top of my head. There. the fan secure. My hair is getting into things. But system fan. I believe that's what this is. I believe that's what this part is considered to be. Right? 10. It has like these numbers for things. I think it's just like the step. It's not telling me. Okay. So that's good. We can figure out where this goes momentarily. Okay, so we got the RAM, we got the processor. This is heavy, Doc. So we got these, that's good. We got this, also good. Lightning Gen M2. If you feel something. I will need, I believe, there is some plastic on the inside. Gotcha. So it says that I should have put thermal paste on there. So I think, like I was saying, with the processor, that it came with thermal paste on it. It wasn't very much. Thermal paste should have been pre-applied, right? Yeah, that's what I feel like is also the case. It had gray gooey stuff on it that it had a little dip for it that was set in separate ways. That's thermal paste. Right? Pretty sure. We'll know soon enough. Which is a terrible way of doing that. I want whatever is in there. They're like little blue slippies. I shall be right back. I need a smaller screwdriver. Alrighty. I did it. I did it. I figured it out. I checked it. And hey, guess what? Mecha Spider. Yeah, the PC did swallow me whole. No, the fan that came with it had RAM or had the thermal paste pre-applied. I checked online, made sure while I was out that that was the case. But there are these little bitties in here. Little bits. Hey guys, you know what time it is? You couldn't hear it. That's how sweet of a treat it was. Where did this come from? Where did it go? There's the other screw. Whoopsie. Well, we'll find out if these bits be necessary or not. Couldn't even hear it. So smooth. That's the smoothness that everyone wants. The baby's bottom of plastic removal. I'm gonna try and do that again. I do anything for ya? Nope, too big. Couldn't even hear it. Okay, that's good. So we have the processor and the RAM applied to the motherboard. Okay, so next up. Next up over here. We're going to need our graphics card. A graphics card. Hi, Phoenix! Graphics card. Pretty self-explanatory. This make the pictures appear on your god dang TV screens. But thing that is, I want to say, not different necessarily about the graphics card that we got, but the reason why we picked the graphics card that we did is because, again, when I was originally building a streaming machine, one of the things that I thought that I was going to be doing more of was video game streaming. And I also was under the assumption that a good graphics card would help out with the rendering speed for videos. I have later learned that that is not necessarily the case. A video card will help you broadcast, obviously. So if you are, like, again, streaming games and you have a lot of things going on, similar to having good RAM, having a good video card is going to help you do that a lot easier. But for what we primarily do on this channel, which is tabletop streaming, I just need to stream a Zoom call 3 times a week. So I don't need that. Whereas the processor, when Adobe Premiere specifically, which is what I use, when Adobe Premiere is processing, it will use the cores / threads that are in your processor. So it's actually better to have a good processor for rendering than it is a good video card. At least from the general research that I've done. If you or anybody at home can prove me wrong, let me know. But again, that's why we're building a desktop PC and not building a laptop, because again, laptops you can't really do much to change the guts of. But with a PC that you kind of build from the ground up, you can do a lot more with. So that's what we're doing. So we chose the, once again, AMD series. AMD I have found is very trustworthy. Maybe trustworthy is not the right phrase for it. Consistent in their product. Come on, get out of there. Most of these parts were ordered through Best Buy and B&H Photo Supplies, I think is what they're called. They're like the B&H is a very sketchy website, but like I've bought a lot of parts from them before. They're usually good. It's just like I feel like they're their interface. Oh, Vic, you have not even seen it standing. This thing is like... I have met children smaller than this. My nephew is smaller than this PC. But yeah, B&H Photo, I feel does a good job. It's just, again, like, they're weird. They're very weird. Their packaging's not weird, but just they're weird. So yeah, we chose the Radeon WX 3200. It's not bad. It does what we need it to do. That's really the graphics card that I ended up picking for it. It's small. It's not like when you see an NVIDIA graphics card, that thing is fucking massive. It has like its own 2 separate fans on it. It is meant to try and kick ass when playing video games. But guess what? Like I said, we don't play. I'm not actively trying to play video games on this computer. I want it to be a streaming machine for what we stream. If I end up playing like Hades or something on it, so be it. But if it ends up being shitty, I have a computer that has a gaming graphics card and a gaming rig that's currently my media machine. And then I also have my laptop that I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with my laptop after this. I'll probably keep it. But if anybody out there is looking for a good computer to start streaming on, hey buddy, I got a laptop with 64 gigs of RAM in there. If you want to hit me up, I would be willing to sell it to help recoup some of the cost of this computer. So let's see what this graphics card looks like. Oh. I love the look of graphics cards and things like that. Another interesting thing that I was doing for a while with PC parts like motherboards is that if you look at them from a top down, they're laid out in such a way that like each little bit has its own separate area of the board, right? Like it each takes up its own amount of economy on the board. So what I did for a while was that I would take the layouts of a motherboard, I would take the layout of a computer piece, and you can use that as a quick and easy map for a D&D town. So like on this motherboard, for example, like the fan processor would be the main castle, where the graphics card and that goes is going to be like long forts, and then over here could be like a civilian area. These little bits out here are more like farming areas. Like you can find inspiration everywhere that you go. But for me, a lot of what I was looking at on these PCs, I could more easily envision things like D&D towns, because that's the kind of person that I am. Ooh, it's pretty. I should have gotten the black and blue case because fans. What the fuck is that? Okay, we have at least one HDMI out. I don't know what that is. I don't know what these little back-endy bits are. But, hey, guess what? It's a decent enough graphics card. We'll figure out how to use those. I think those are like the audio digital output kind of cable. But yeah, the last graphics card that I have is like 3 times this big. But you all know what time it is. Ah, yeah. I know we're all here for it. A mini display port. I know they look like USB slots. It's weird. Welcome back. I don't know what those part.
Oh yeah, that's like there's like cameras and stuff. I don't remember the name of it, but I've seen I'm pretty sure that's the thing that I've seen like with camcorders and stuff.
Reeves is saying that it is a mini display port. So I'm gonna believe him on that one.
Yeah, that sounds very right. It was like I looked over at my phone just as you were moving it away from the camera, and I was like, hey, damn, I know.
I want to know what that is.
See it.
computer parts? Why do you always feel so flimsy?
You fucked it up. That's $300 down the drain.
I know.
At least.
I hate it. It's like this little guy is like slightly out there.
Aren't you supposed to screw the motherboard in first? And then?
Yeah, I'll probably have to do that with the graphics card.
Yeah, because it's like...
Yep, I've done everything that I can without having to unscrew it. Reeves, wait, hold it up again. Oh. These 4 little back boys. These ports, these 4. Can you see? No. I'll figure it out. Here's instructions.
What Reeves said sounded right.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem like a mini DPI. And then, yeah. Then Dwomble is saying that the website says that they are mini display ports.
Oh, that's
So, yeah.
the first thing Reeves said, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good. And then, since you're here, would you mind taking?
Oh, thanks.
Thank you!
Wow.
Trash man!
Yay! But yeah, don't like plug everything in if you're gonna have to take shit off and put it in the computer, you know?
Yes.
Just in case. I don't know how far you're going with all of this. Oh, look at this.
I know.
Satisfying.
Sexy.
There's sphincters.
Ew.
Not really. But
Why
like,
would you
it's close
say that?
Because it's funny.
Oh, that's neat. It's got a little flappy. Ooh, it's a magnet on the front.
Is it? Wait, I'm coming. Ah! Scaring me. It's too big. It's intimidating.
Oh my god, it's so fucking big.
What are you looking at? Oh, no, that's where you can put your disc
Yeah,
drive.
where I can put the disk drive that I got for me, not for stream. I can put stickers in there on the inside as well as outside. But isn't it, guys? This case is very worth it. Vic, it's okay. I'll probably be uploading this onto the Twitch chat or the YouTube after. Why not? Get them views. Gotta get them views, baby. And this is fun. This gets the people going, right? I think this is fun. Oh my god, Indoor, be careful. No, I'm not going to. You can't make me. You're not my real dad. Okay. So yeah, before you go, Vic, this is how tall this PC is. Standing next to me. The case is as big as me. No, this case is like... What was the name of the actor? A liquid indoor might VR volumetrically inside this case. No, liquid me would definitely fit inside this. What was the name of the dude who was Willow in the movie Willow? What's his name? He's Small Man. That I definitely remember the name of. It's like Wilford something. I feel like it was Wilford. Like Willard. Maybe I'm just thinking Warwick. Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis could fit inside this case. I love Willow. That was a great movie. Bajoon. I wish these headphones were closer. But I can have them be. Hold up. see what I'm doing. And I couldn't see where it was. There we go. Ah. That's the good shit right there. Down. For all you at home. Follow along. There is one of the neat things is that all of the cables have already been pre-bundled. Like it's already like contained on that end, like organized, and then it says like, hey, this is for 12-volt input, because all of your power is actually through this small power thing right there. Then that's what connects to the motherboard. So all the fans, everything that you have that is part of the cooling process of your PC that's going to be on the back end, all of that is going to be through this small chippy right here. And that's sexy. That's some good shit right there. If you guys are PC builders or anything like that, you understand the plight of, again, the reason why you get a specific motherboard is so that way it has all of the little pin cables that you need, and sometimes it doesn't have enough, so you have to make do and like, oh, I don't need this fan, I guess I don't need this thing, I guess. But with this, again, all of your PC and CPU fans, or PC fans, like the external ones, plug into here, and then it just has the one cable, so it all goes to the same thing. But like that one cable controls like 4 other fans. That's super cool. Also, this is a rose. I agree. It's as beautiful as one. And like I was saying, it actually has like these straps that are built into it. They're little, I don't know if you can hear that. They're Velcro straps that are on there. So rather than having to always put in like zip ties and then cut the zip ties and make sure everything is like working that way, it's just Velcro. You just cinch it, seal it, put the case back on, don't even worry about it. So that's cool. But the reason that we opened that up, the accessory box. This accessory box should have, obviously, the user manual. Oh my god, guys. Acorns. This case just keeps getting better. They organized all the little screws that you need. All of the ones that you're gonna need to like do anything with, as well as like they have a bunch of extra screws, so in case the ones that you end up having get broken, they have a bunch of extra Velcro bits, so if you need that for cinching, you have those. They have a, oh, this is, I was gonna say a useless thing, but for the hub connecting to the 4-pin CPU fan, it tells you how to connect it, which is very useful, and a large infographic. They organize the screws, that's so nice. Yeah. Yeah. And this, I don't know what this is. I fucks with it though. It's like a fan holder, but it's red, the same red as the PC itself. So I feel like this will go someplace. Oh, is it just like a spare? Doesn't seem like a spare. I don't know where this goes. I like it though. I'm excited. Gets the people going. Where did it? There it did. Okay, user manual. Let's see it. Pump bracket, side radiator bracket. So that, what we got as a loose, goes on here. I think down here you can actually get extra fans. And then you'd be able to put them in, like maybe like right here. That's pretty cool. My organizer brain just drooled. All right, good night, Reeves. Thanks for stopping by. Thumb screws, motherboard. Oh, and it tells you that's so kind of them. For the accessory bin, it tells you which screws go where. So when we're putting that motherboard in, that Moby board, you will know which goes where. And this is the thing I like to have like flip side down when I'm screwing things in. I don't have to worry about the cables getting cinched. Okay. Come here, big boy. But can't get in just yet because that one little wire that was coming out that we had plugged in before, I don't want to forget about, because again, that's an important guy. But you go to CPU fan, which is at the top. Oh, never mind, fam. We cool. Because there is one of those like little port guys. That actually like rests on the like one of the little rubber things that you can feed things through. Like this case is meant to just sit and look pretty. And I'm so excited. But that's besides the point. We need 3mm screws, which there are 28 of. And they have a separate display. They have their own little ringy on, which is good. And the other thing about putting in your motherboard, you might be like trying to like navigate it onto the pins that it'll rest on. Yes. Once they find those pins, they will just rest. It's very nice. You take a nap. They take a nap right here. Oh. And you will know where they go, because again, they just sort of like rest there. And then once you find it, screws just thread in. Like, if anyone is looking for a new computer case, would suggest this one. The case itself was not cheap. This was actually one of the more expensive pieces of this build. Overall, I think the case was like $250 is what it went for, pretty close to that. Again, not exactly... Like, there were certain things about this build that, like, I could have made cheaper. The case was definitely one of them. But I wanted to make sure that I was getting a quiet case. Because, again, a lot of what we do is audio related, and we also don't really use... Oh, that's how you get them. Screws on the... Sorry, I got distracted. ADD brain. I wanted to make sure that when we were streaming, that it was quiet, because we also don't really use background music a whole lot. We use theory of the mind, just very quiet, and I'm thankful that people still find that interesting. Yes, UPS, I believe that my package has been delivered. Thank you, you twats. All right. Now it's screw time. I'm gonna do this without my headphones because I need mobility. Be able to hear when to screw gets them threads. Which is a lot harder to do when you have headphones that are designed to keep things away. Is this fun for people? People enjoying this? I assume you are, since you're all still hanging out. But again, like, this is one of those things I've never really done a build stream of anything before. Like, I did an unboxing once of a thing, but it wasn't like a stream of it. It was the Green Knight TTRPG that that one's gone forever. That A24 ended up making to promote their movie, The Green Knight, that was supposed to come out this year, or last year, that did not, and is going to be instead coming out this year. I think they were finishing up production on it, and then, you know, COVID hit. I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm working and enjoying your narration. Making things is fundamentally satisfying, and watching things be made works too. I'm glad. I'm gonna have some water. Again, relatively away from the inside of this. Ugh. Like hunching over, I feel, ugh. Got burps. Hunching over is like bad for my back, but it's very hard not to just do that when you're working on shit on a table, unless the table is like up here. And if I had a table that was that high, I would have a lot of concerns. I'd have a lot of questions. No, I am glad that people are enjoying this. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, like, maybe we'll try and do this more often. Maybe not necessarily like build a PC. I don't want to have to build a PC all the time. My desk at uni was adjustable between normal and standing desk, and it was just the best thing. I've thought about that. I've been thinking recently about getting a desk that can swap between sitting and standing, but at the same time, I stand all day at work. All day. Like more than 8 hours. I don't sit down really. So I don't want to do that. I like being able to just like sit in my chair. It feels very nice. To just sit back after a long day. Crack open a brewski and pretend I'm somebody else. Play with my friends. Okay, so I normally you could get a smaller light, but that's why we have boop, this one just to check for me. In case there's anything like hiding out. Yep, there's one that I missed. But I couldn't see without this light. But thankfully they included 28 of these small screws. Okay. The Tomahawk has landed. So another, another reason why I thought about getting a standing desk was like when I did, I was a games tester for a while. For those of you who don't know, I talk about it with a relative frequency. Is that how you do it? Fucking see these mesh trays for the fans underneath? Boom, you just click them and pull them out. Everything on this case is just like a quick little tap and then it pops out like a drawer. God, that's so fucking good. That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you, company who made this thing. As large as it is just a shift's key. No, I used to have a standing desk when I did games testing, and I loved my standing desk. And then I went on to a new team, and when I was on that new team, my boss told me that I could not have a standing desk because we needed to be uniformed, which was really weird of a job where I could show up wearing a band t-shirt that had like decapitated heads on it, and this dude was like, oh, everybody, if you move your desk, you need to move it in X amount of time. If you do this, like he was like military guy. And I say military guy and then do like exaggerated quotes after that because like I know a lot of people who have been in the military now that I've gotten older, and like I was just a dick. he wasn't helpful. Nothing that he did was very helpful. I'm sure he thought that he was helpful, but that's usually the case with people who aren't. I think about that job a lot, but that's mostly because it was an emotionally abusive relationship with an employer, which is always a strange place to be in. Okay, so now that the motherboard is mounted, that's when we can put our little buddy. Our little Radeon Power WX3 3200. This boy. Spaceship sound. Then here it goes. Again, scariest part about being, oh god, I needed that. And the scariest part's about putting computer parts in. They make a snappy noise when you put them in. I like hate that, stopping people from optimizing their setup for themselves. He was just upsetty that I was tall. At least that's what I tell myself. He just didn't like the fact that I lorded myself over him like any tall person would No, I could see where he was coming from in that he wanted everything to be like uniform, but at the same time, it hurt my back to sit that long, so I needed to stand. But he just didn't want people standing at their desks because it created like, oh, like you think that you're better than other people because you're standing. It's like, no, my body just aches, bro. Okay. Whoa. Graphics card is in. We got the processor in. We got our RAM in. So there's really not very many pieces left on this build. I'm guessing that will probably be done in a little bit, or like once I put all of the pieces in, I'll probably end the stream and then like doing all of like the small port cable management off screen, just so that way like I can take a break, come back to it, do all that. But yeah, so we just need the fan and the power supply, really. Because then like a hard drive, like, it's whatever. Hard drives are super easy to put in. Those are definite plug and chug. Which I've said before about a lot of other things about building a PC, but that is because, hey, guess what? Building a PC is not as difficult as you quite possibly make it out to be. There we go. Pop, pop. The power supply that we have chosen. Cooler Master. Did I get an SSD for this? I did not. I thought I bought an SSD, and then when it arrived, it was a hard disk. But honestly, it's the hard disk that I ended up getting was a 2 terabyte hard disk, and it's pretty quiet. It's the Seageate Barracude model. Because I'm not like doing a whole lot of file transfers, and again, this isn't for like video games, which an SSD would be better for. It's more for like a Zoom call. I needed stability more than I needed speed. Especially like I could put like my OS on an SSD. But other than that, a lot of what I do is just processing speed and processing power. So there's no real like need, there's no active need for me to get a SSD. That's the word. Them's the breaks. So, those at home, you probably already know this, but a power supply is what powers your computer. That's where you have plugins, all that jazz. That's the kind of shit that you want. I had great difficulty doing video editing on a hard drive, but that's just free software I was using, and if Premiere would be better. What software were you using? I've actually been trying to like think about moving away from Premiere, because Premiere can be a mite bit trash on occasion, and I kind of don't want to deal with their bullshit sometimes. So, where do you want to go? I just hit the mic, and I apologize for that. Probably. I mean, it assumed that I knew what I was doing, so why wouldn't I? It's called VSDC Video Editor. I've never heard of that. It might be the editing software. Again, like, what if you were doing video editing? Was your processor solid? Did you have good RAM? Did you have all of those? There are a lot of like free video editing softwares that are also just like straight up garbage, though. I think that's where that goes. Sexy. Yeah, the power supply. The PCs that I've had before, Premiere is so easy. Also, certain things aren't unnecessarily fussy. Power supplies that I've had before go meow. Where the power supply on this one's going is on the other side. I would flip it around to show you all. I think I will. Which again, the power supply hanging out over here keeps it hidden and makes it a lot more like low profile as far as the innards actually go. So if you have fans or like if you want LEDs or anything like that on the inside, on the side that you can't currently see because the PC is massive, and that's a really good spot for it. Yeah, Premiere, I would say Premiere is easy sometimes. I've had a lot of like really weird issues with Premiere lately, specifically Premiere 2020 and 2021. I found that they just weren't rendering things well. Like, they just weren't doing what I needed it to do in a timely fashion. Like, I went from being able to render a video in an hour to rendering a video in like 3 to 4 hours. It just didn't make any sense to me, and the only thing that was different was the year of that it came in. So fan installation, front HD, PSU is power supply, right? Pretty sure that's what that means. Using the media encoder? I was not using the media encoder. I was using just like the straight thing for it. Mobo installation. Going yeah. Power supply. There are 8 of those. It says reservoir bracket, which I don't think. Yeah, PSU is power supply. All right, cool. Oh, it came with 4 small power supply screws for itself. So thank you, power supply, for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. I don't render without the media encoder because the built-in render to me is very unstable. I feel like it's not that it's unstable, but there have been times where like I'll go to export a video and if Adobe just is like, don't like that, and it's like, why? It's your own program. But if Adobe doesn't feel like rendering it that day and the program closes, there's no autosave feature for the things that I was working on. So I have definitely lost, like, not like the video files themselves because I make backups, but like I'll lose like 10-20 minutes of editing just like waiting for things to render, that sort of thing, which can be very frustrating. Media encoder is good for most everything. Oh, hello! Hello, Daniel Quasar. I've not seen you in the chat for a while. I saw on Bandcamp it was your birthday the other day. Happy belated birthday. Supply cut in. So yeah, this is a build stream until I get all the parts in, and then I'm gonna power it off or power the stream down, and then, you know, not move on with my night necessarily, but like I made a mess of the room that I'm in to try and get this done. No. This is not this is not my table. This is my partner's table that she has graciously let me use for the eve. All right, so got that down. Bing, bang, boom. All right, so next up is going to be what's the part over there? Is going to be this HDD, your hard drive, hard drives are pretty standard. You know what a hard drive does. That's where your memories are. It's the Kingdom Hearts of PC bits. There we go. They pull at my heartstrings and take my breath away. Hard drive. We got the 2 terabyte Barracude. Good. I like it. I have one already out on my other machine that I use as more of like a media player at this point. I do not have a build in the description of this video. I will probably, or in the description of this stream, I'll probably end up putting a link to that either on our Patreon or Discord. I'll probably do both. Probably put both of them there. Hey, guess what on the back end? Open your tray. And just slap the fucker in. That's really all you need to do with hard disk drives when you're doing the initial setup. That's right. That's how you do it. You unclamp them first. Look at me. Cool, cool. Can't wait to see what you're working with. Yeah. Yep, so for those of you at home, boop. Oh, look at that. It's clamped in. And there it shall stay until I squeeze it out again. So again, most things just clip in. Hard drive done. Okay, so I have to go around. Because I forgot a part. To say how you feel. In the stack of boxes. I got you. Right by me. I got you. Right by me. Right by me. Did I mention that the room that I'm in is not designed There we go. Cute. Thing that I got. What is it? A disk drive. But it's not just any disk drive. It can read and write Blu-rays as well. Because I like having physical media of things. It is a relic of the past. However, I do a lot of... At my job, we get a lot of movies in. We get a lot of Blu-rays in. and of like old TV shows and stuff like that. Like I just can't find anywhere else. Like I can't find available to stream online. So I'm just gonna bring them home and I'm gonna rip them to my computer and then I'll just have them. It's not stealing, it's borrowing. Like a little bit of data at a time. Okay. Okay. Shocked. Surprised Pikachu. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's right. Bada boom. Installed. And I'll just hook it up later. Because that's where all the fun begins. So now, we've done it, folks. We have most of our pieces put in. The only thing that's left is the fan. And who's in the fight? There we go. Which again, I think this PC, like, there's so much empty space in here, which is gonna look really nice when we actually get it. Is ripping illegal in the US too? I know they changed it back to being illegal again here. I don't think that it's illegal to rip media that you have to watch for personal use. But if I had like a Plex server or another thing where I was using said ripped media and then hosting it for consumption, I think then that becomes the issue. And then of course it's also like, oh, is it within public domain? Chances are probably not. But we'll find out together when I get a DMC notice. But I'm not going to, because I'm not going to post anything that I'm watching online. Most of it's just like, oh, this is an anime that I wanted to see. I'll just take it home for an afternoon, rip it to my computer, and then bring it back. Premium grade thermal paste. A lot of like... It says common parts. So if I need extra stuff... Oh! Like a torque wrench. Or if I was opening the thing. Question, am I putting this fan together myself? Or is this like replacement pieces on said fan? Oh hey, I have that same CPU cooler. It's a really nice one. For OEM. Okay, so what I might have done is bought a very unnecessary piece. Because I think the AMD fan that we have on there is what I should be using. Whoops. Do I care about RGB at all? Yeah, so I think I bought a very unnecessary fan. Intel backplate. Does it even go with what I need? Yeah, I might end up just returning this. We're just like hanging on to it. I think I did buy myself a second CPU cooler. I didn't realize that the processor came with it. I should have. Huh. Well, howdy doody. Who would have thought? Probably more than fine. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did, Don. Well, if that's the case, that's it. Boy, howdy. Okay. In which case, I just need to start like throwing together a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of newer AMDs. The AMD that I got was the Ryzen 7 3500 series, I believe. Usually says on the box, but I cannot find it. Oh, hi LB. Thanks for coming by. We actually just finished putting together all the pieces that I needed. I got a fan I didn't need. I might put it on later, because I have like thermal paste and everything, but like we'll see. Like if this ends up being kind of a noisier fan, I have this as a backup. Just gonna save it and keep it. Does it turn on? No. No, it does not. I need to actually hook everything up. But I was going to do that after the stream ended, just to save myself some time, save you all some time of me just like not really being able to speak, being like, okay, I need to put this tiny one on the LED. So I think it makes no noise at all. I'm running a Ryzen 9. Sweet deal. Well, I did it. PC put together. Look at that. So, with that in mind, let's talk about all the stuff that we got again. So, just to go over basics of what we had. You'll hear it kick up, but that's about it. Congrats on the new build. Thank you. So, yeah, we're just gonna go through all the little bitty parts. Thanks for the stream. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Tom, for sticking by. So, graphics card. We got a workstation graphics card. It's the Radeon Pro WX3200. Blah, 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 blah. It is a nice blue color. It's a very small form. It uses a mini HDMI port, or a mini display port, which might cause some issues. I'll have to check my monitors. I might end up having to get new monitors or something to support this computer. And in the meantime, I still have my laptop, so like I can stream from that. But I still want to try and get this puppy up and running. So that was the graphics card that we ended up using. The RAM that we got was 32 gigabytes total of Vengeance LPX Corsair DDR4 RAM to go with our motherboard. I am technically trimming down on the RAM that I had in my laptop, but all things considered, I feel like this was still a good purchase. I am happy to have as much RAM as I do. Then, of course, like we spoke about earlier, there's the Ryzen 7 processor, 3500 series, I believe, which I am pretty excited about. Again, I'm going from like a 3-4-year-old processor at this point. I think the processor I got in the laptop when I got the laptop was already old, so like it's going to be a step in the right direction, which I feel is good. Then power supply. It wasn't really super special as a power supply. It was the Cooler Master Elite 600. But that's just because it supported the wattage that I was looking at. So that was really more just like Cooler Master's a good brand. They make solid products. I have been a fan of Cooler Master for power supply for years and years and years. I'll probably still continue to use Cooler Master if I can. Then Seageate. I got the Barracude 2 terabyte hard disk drive. Again, it was cheap. It was like $50 for a 2 terabyte hard drive through Best Buy. So if you were looking to upgrade your internal memory, and you don't mind it being an HDD and not an SSD, Barracuda. It's good. Then there was the fan that apparently I just didn't even need. But hey, it's got premium cooler paste compound in it. So if I find that, like, oh, I want an even quieter PC somehow with 2 fans, I'm gonna whip out this bad boy and install that. Or maybe, like, again, eventually down the road, I'll probably put that in, but not right now. That's fine. And then for the motherboard, we ended up going with the MAG B5500 Tomahawk AMD motherboard. Honestly, the motherboard weighs a pretty pound. I think the motherboard ended up being like 4 pounds inside of the box. It's pretty hefty, but it had all of the hookups that we needed in order to make sure that this PC is going to be able to run and run properly. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, that is it for the build. That's everything that it included. Oh, and of course, this wonderful, beautiful, far too large case. That would be the Enthoo Primo Phanteks, designed in the Netherlands. That's what it says on the thing. It's a absolutely incredible case. I love the cable management opportunities that they are providing in this. Just making sure that everything looks very, very formed. All of the cables are able to be cinched in the back with Velcro rather than using any kind of zip tie. That's the word. It is a beautiful, gigantic case. Has when we put the windows back on, it's going to have some glass window panes on it, so that way you can see inside, see all the bits as they move, which I am always a huge fan of. But yeah, that's it. Oh, and a Blu-ray drive, because I like movies. I watch stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's the build. Thank you all for coming by. It's been a blast. I had fun doing this. I hope that you all had fun watching me do this. I don't think that there will be more build videos in the future, because again, I don't plan on building PCs very frequently. This is the first time I've ever built a PC by myself, so I'm actually really surprised that it went as quickly as it did and as easily as it did. I say quickly, but we already passed 2 hours, so thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join me for this. I will let you know in the Discord and on Twitter as soon as this thing gets powered on and beefed up. I got a Windows 10 install, micro USB, all rip-roaring and ready to go. So yeah, feel free to follow me on Twitter, Indoor WTF, or join us on Discord. The link's in the description of this Twitch video, VOD, YouTube, all that jazz. It's there. You can find me that way. But until next time, thanks you guys for coming out. I had a blast doing this, and I will probably see you next time. I gotta saunter on over to the other side. I'm gonna switch over to the big screen again.
Watch me slap it on my black lips. Chapstick, 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 chapstick. That lip balm, goodness, yes, I gotta have it. Chapstick, 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 chapstick. Keep the moisture wrapped. Watch me slap it on my black lips. Chapstick, 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 chapstick. What can I say, yo? I really love it.